Good evening, everyone, and welcome to NMP Talk Show. And this evening, we have a special guest that is joining us all the way from the US. You said East Coast, eh?
Yeah, East Coast, United
Yeah, I'll
States.
introduce you in a moment. But I'm not alone as usual. I am with my co-host Figile Nkosi. Figile, how are you doing? Welcome.
Thank you, Noah. I'm doing great. Thank you very much. And Mondays, as much as they are long during the day, I'm always looking forward to our talk show. Like we are live now. We are live on Riverside
Definitely.
FM. Are we live on TikTok today? Yes, we are. And
Yeah.
then on Twitter, we
Yes.
are live on Twitter. And if you miss it because we don't have power in South Africa, I hear the generator next door. You can catch us later on Get Informed too, Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts. Oh, you know what? There's so many. But
Every
without taking
platform.
so much time, introduce our guest speaker today.
Yes. So our guest speaker, our guest speaker is from East Coast in the United States. He's a certified personal trainer, high performance coach, and a top 10 salesman in the finance. Figile, you have a competition there.
I'm not scared of competition. Don't worry.
I think we need to have a slot where we talking finance, the two of you. So his
That will
name
be
is Alex.
wonderful.
Yeah, his name is Alex Macklin. Alex, welcome to our show. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, doing well. Thank you. And just so you guys know, I'm actually from California. I'm just on vacation visiting family on the East Coast. So that's where I am right now.
I see, I
Okay.
see.
You know,
Okay.
my next question was to explain where's East Coast, because we do have East Coast in South Africa. I
Yeah,
googled and it
so
said,
so
yeah,
yeah. So East Coast United States is like it's all the eastern states. So like New York, Florida, North Carolina, Virginia, all the eastern states in the United States.
Okay. Okay.
If you ever hear of like Washington D.C., that's also in the
Yes,
East
yes.
Coast. Like
Oh,
where
I
the
see.
president, where the White House is, the president, that's on the East Coast also.
Okay.
Yeah,
You know,
just to
when
make it
you
a little
say
more
East
vivid for
Coast,
you.
for some reason I thought you were talking South Africa, but I knew that you were
Oh
from
no,
the
no, no.
US. I was like, nah, it's not the South African East Coast. That's fantastic.
We can't hear you
Our
though.
host is
oh,
not audible. Noah,
okay.
can you hear us? There
I
you
am
go. You
so
came back.
sorry.
Yep.
So we're talking about self-care, and I've made some little bit of research, but we do have a professional that will expand on this topic today, which is Alex. But my research showed me that a lot of people are going through burnout. It's just early in the year. I mean, you'd expect to have burnout, late in the year where you've worked the whole year without the rest, without taking a vacation or holiday, we call it in South Africa, and that will cause burnout. But then it has been reported that people are reporting burnout syndromes so early in the year because of they're trying to adapt to the new positions at work, at school. Basically, the change of an environment from a relaxed state of December where they were on vacation relaxing, now they have to switch over to a hectic lifestyle. Now they get burnout syndrome. So we want to find out what we can do to cope with that, throughout this year. And Alex is the man for us. Alex, you are the man.
Before Alex comes in now, talking about burnout, I was
Yeah.
burnt out the 1st of January while I was working all throughout December. I didn't take any vacation. I felt like, you know what, I've had enough for 2023.
Yeah.
Alex, what might be the cause? Please let us in. Let us understand what we need to do.
Yeah. So I just want to create a context first
Yeah.
to build credibility, like why I would even know the answer to this.
Okay.
So in my personal life, I'm going to illustrate like what I'm doing right now, just to show you that I'm actually in this position too, right? And I'm managing and dealing with it. So right now I have a full-time job. I work in sales, right? In the finance industry. That's like my 9 to 5 full-time job. I do that every Monday to Friday, right? Every day, every week. And I'm pretty good at it, but after years of, personal development and sales studying, if you work hard, right, you could do well, right, obviously in life. So besides that, I'm also building 3 businesses this year online, which I'm building all right now.
Wow.
And I'm also a trader in the stock market, right? So I'm doing all these things at the same time right now. And I'm doing them in a way where, like, I expect them to do really well, and make me a good amount of, fortune, and, and help, develop. Essentially, I'm going to be building teams, and, I'm not getting too specific about what they are, obviously, for privacy, but, my intention is that these become successful businesses. I invite my friends to join me with them, to make them money for their families and help a lot of people out around the world through my companies in the future. So I'm doing a lot of stuff, is what I wanted to communicate to you. Like, I have a lot of things going on right now that really could stress me out, right? Really keep me, like, have anxiety and stress and everything, right? And almost maybe even be burned out right now for the whole year, And if you look at me, though, and you look at how I'm talking right now on this podcast, like, do I look stressed out?
Nope.
Do I sound stressed out?
Nope, definitely not.
That's the secret.
Yeah. Okay. So I just want to share that first, so the audience would understand. You guys would know that, like, I'm not just talking about this. I'm living it myself. Like, I'm living a life that being burnt out or stressed out should naturally be happening. I'm launching 3 businesses I got to figure out and manage. I got, like, my life, like, it's a lot. So one of the biggest, like, so the question was, like, what's causing this, or, like, what's kind of the solution to this? So what's causing it, in my experience, what I've dealt with, and I had to, figure out and train and develop myself in, I would say number 1 is organization is number 1. So if you're not organized, like, if I'm someone who's not organized in the sense of organization is like, I have compartmentalized every business in a box. So I have certain things I do. Like, for example, I'll mention one. So right now I'm launching a personal training coaching business online. And I have a system, an organization for that. So I have a team I built for that already. I communicate with them through Facebook. I've hired someone for content management. I have a team. I have a system over here in a box that I'm leveraging or using for that business. And I've been able to automate and delegate most of that out to other people and technology. So it's taken care of. And the amount of effort I have to put in every day to create and run this business, even in the future, is maybe like an hour a day tops at this point, because I've done all the work and I have everything organized in a box. Like, so everything works together. So I learned that when you're not being organized, and now you don't have systems, you don't have processes, you don't have teams or support systems to help you out, and you're doing it all yourself, like, I have to do all this on my own and figure it out, I feel overwhelmed, right? Like, I feel overwhelmed. I'm having anxiety. I'm freaking out. I'm having, this has happened, by the way, so I'm talking from experience. I'm having, like, nightmares. I can't go to sleep at night because I'm thinking about, oh my God, like, how am I going to do this thing? I have no idea, right? Is how normally you may be. But when you're organized and you put the work in, you create these systems, these processes, these teams, this level of organization to ensure that you will have what you're saying you're going to have, which is a successful running business. Remember, a business is not you doing all the work. A business is you create teams. You leverage technology. Like, for calendar appointments, I use a website called Calendly, because essentially I send you my calendar link. You look at when I'm available, you see when you're available, you click on a button, it then will email us both the time, the date, in our time zones, go right into our calendar with a Zoom link, all of it automatically done for you. Mm-hmm. Imagine how much time that saves from you and the stress of having to schedule, like, even this call right now with Neo, right? We could do this all automated, so it's done. So imagine doing that. So it's kind of like automation combined with organization, right? Mm-hmm. And by doing that, so I've done that for every business I have. They're all compartmentalized, they're all systematized in a box, and that's it. So the answer again was organization. If you could be, or if you're not organized, you will be stressed out. You will feel overwhelmed. You will feel like you can't do it. And honestly, in my personal life, when those things happen, what usually immediately comes after that is failure and then depression,
Yeah.
hands down. And I just stop. Like, I'm just like, this is not going to work. I'm done. And I move on. And like, it sucks, right? Because what if I would have kept doing it? So I'll stop there. But I would say organization is like the foundation. If you're not organized, you're going to get overwhelmed, stressed out, freaked out, have nightmares because you don't know how to do it. That's Max. Because you don't know how to do it. You know, like you don't. And here's a cool thing, though, just to leave you empowered around this. Okay, you don't have to be stuck like this. You could reach out to people. You could find friends, family. You could research technology like Calendly online that you could use and leverage to do a lot of the work for you so you don't feel overwhelmed anymore. Things are getting done for you automatically. That's how you build a business. A business is not you. A business is you creating automation, technology, processes, systems to do things for you. A simple example real quick, and I'll stop talking after this, is like McDonald's, right? McDonald's is a franchise that's $1 billion franchise around the world. If you want to have a restaurant, you do it by yourself, one person. If you want to build a business, you create a franchise and sell it to other people to start their own McDonald's, right? And 20, 30, 50 years later, now they're available around the world. And the person who owns McDonald's right now takes money from that one restaurant, times it by thousands of income streams. And other people now are making him or her money. That's how you build a business, just to create that. I'll stop there.
Wow.
Yeah, that's actually fantastic. I'm thinking now I can relate mostly on what you have said, what might have caused me to be bent out on the 1st of January while I was trying to work. And honestly, I'm always trying to wear all the hats by myself. Even if I have people who can actually wear the hats or can do the job. But I feel like, you know what, it will be perfect if I'm the one doing it. I need to do it myself. So now I got something from you to say, you know what, delegate. Whether through a system that will do it or a team that will assist you to actually not really avoid, but to limit you being bent out. Actually, that's what I took out on whatever you have said on the beginning of the show. Is there anything you wanted to add, Noah?
Yeah, that also comes with trusting. Because if you don't trust people to do work for you, then you tend to want to wear all the hats, do everything by yourself.
Yeah.
And that's a key point there, because if you don't trust, then that's where burnout comes, because you're going to do every little thing. And when you do every little thing by yourself is when you have a lot of mistakes that you have to go back and fix. Now it's double the time, which burns you out, because now you're working double the time, or even 3 times more. Yeah. So what else can we salvage from this discussion, so that we know what to do? We talked about being organized. What else do we need to do?
And I'll just talk from what you both just said. Like I'm going to continue that line of thinking because I think it's really brilliant. So with trusting people, another way you could kind of reframe that, Neo, to another way to look at it is by, I'll say the word trusting people. Another way you could look at that is when you're giving people in your team or your organization, the opportunity to be trusted with, right? This is people now, not technology. We're talking about people. What you're doing, which is kind of cool, is you're empowering them. You're giving them responsibilities. You're entrusting them to do something. And another level here is you then could take on that you are then giving them the opportunity to be trained and developed by you on how to do something exceedingly well, like you can, if it's something that you normally are good at and do, of course, right? So like for me, I'll give an example, because examples I think make it very clear to understand. So like right now in the personal training industry, right? So I've been inside that industry for about 7 years now. You know, I have like 5 certifications. Like I'm very knowledgeable. I've researched extensively. This year, actually, the last 3 months, fasting, like intermittent fasting, extended fasting, the benefits of it to your health, fat loss especially. I've actually introduced fat loss into my programs through fasting, not even through dieting, just fasting. And it's like the results are spectacular, you know, what's possible. But bottom line here, my point is that, you know, instead of me doing all the work, what I did is I found someone on Facebook. So one of the best places to look, by the way, just to be another one here besides organization, is to be resourceful. Neo, just as, that I would say that's number 2. Be resourceful. Yeah. So me personally, you know, there's so many social media platforms out there, right? The TikTok, you know, the grams, you know, whatever. And those are all great and everything. But for me personally at 30, you know, mid 30s, I only use Facebook. That's it. I'm exclusively a Facebook person. And on Facebook groups, if you're a business person, you could find everything you would ever need on Facebook groups. I'm part of like 500 groups right now, and I'm part of like 5 of them for personal training and fitness. And through those groups, I have been able to find clients through there. I have found partners, business partners through there. I have found marketing teams through there, like because people advertise in there, like they're looking, and I create my own post on there, you know? So being resourceful, and we'll tie this back into the topic of this call about burnout, being resourceful and being engaging in conversations with other people and talking in a way that inspires them. Like, hey, Neo, how would you like to be part of an opportunity with me? Or, you know, you get to help me create a really, you know, amazing personal training business. And if you do a great job, I'll refer you to 5 of my other personal trainers and you could help them also. Like, how does that sound? You know, like one of the best things that you can do in leadership that is talked about a lot online, but I'm just going to say it anyway, is one of the best things that I've discovered that works exceedingly well in order to building like a really good, like loyal, you know, community and base of people that want to help you and want to work with you is by you just providing and giving as much value as you can to everyone you talk to with no expectations, none, of getting anything in return. Yeah. See, a lot of people think that's dumb, right? And if you think about it logically, it kind of does sound kind of idiotic because you're like, well, wait, if you're giving all this value away and you're not getting anything in return for it, how are you going to be successful? Well, I'll tell you how, because I've done this. I've been doing this for years. Mm-hmm. The amount of like giving back that I've received from me giving, and I'll give examples again to make it clear. Like I'm part of 500 Facebook groups, right? I get feeds every day in my phone about, you know, new messages, right? People posting like, hey, you know, I'm trying to lose weight right now and I don't know what to do. I'll go on their post and I'm like, here, like, let me ask you some questions first. I'm a certified personal trainer. Like, how much do you weigh? What are you eating? What are you doing? What do you have access to? Do you have injuries? For free, right? They'll then tell me what they've told. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to design you a customized plan. Here it is. Bam, 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 bam. Now that takes my own time. I spend maybe 10 minutes with that post for free, giving value. Now, some people will say, well, dude, that's dumb. You could have charged that person money for it. But what we don't realize, though, is that group has 100,000 people in it that are looking at that post. Yeah. And all of a sudden, if I do a great job at helping this person out, 100,000 people could see that. And they're like, oh, wow, this guy knows his stuff. Maybe I should reach out to him also and get advice or talk to him. So in a way, what I've done, right? And by the way, I don't want this to sound like I'm manipulating people. I'm not. Like, I actually like helping people, so I do it anyway for free on my own time. But what I'm telling you is that when you could be someone who's giving and loving, and I don't expect anything in return, by the way, but I'm doing it in a forum of a lot of people, it's kind of serves as like a lead magnet for marketing. Like people, if you don't know what that is, it's like a lead magnet is like creating a post on like a social media platform with the intention of having people engage with you, talk to you about it. And usually it's some kind of free offering like, hey, I have this free 5-page ebook on fat loss. If you want it, comment below. Right? So it's a way to market and engage with people. It's kind of like that, but it's a different version of it. Now, I didn't do this for that reason. But what I'm telling you is that this kind of happened spontaneously. I didn't plan it happening this way, but it did. So after that post, a lot of people started messaging me and they're like, well, hey, like, I need help too. And you seem like you know what you're talking about. And all of a sudden, people started messaging me and I started having conversations. And then I even converted some of those people into paying clients. Now, that wasn't my intention. I swear, it wasn't. I wasn't trying to do that. But that's the result of me being unselfish, being helpful and loving to another person I don't know, and providing them value, especially in a large 100,000 person group. So there's a lot of exposure, right, to that post. That's what you do. And if I could tell you, just to put a number to it, over the last 7 years that I've been really involved with personal development for myself, professional development, really taking on my own health, my own growth in life. I mean, if I'm making this number up just to illustrate it. If I've given, let's say, like 100% to everything I've done in terms of giving value and content, in return of that effort, I've probably gotten back like 1,000,000%. If you just want to put a number to it, I've gotten back like, what is it, like 100,000, whatever the math is, like, 1,000x, 10,000x from what I put in, from what I put out. So I'll be the first one to tell you that if you really want to be successful in this world in general, just in general, and you also want to feel fulfilled for yourself, like you want to be happy and you want to be powerful and you want to have notoriety and credibility and people trust you, the simplest way to do it, that costs no money, by the way, is just go on Facebook groups or any social media platform, doesn't matter. Right now, obviously, you want to be an expert in this, right? So, like, I'm a certified personal trainer, right? I'm a certified yoga instructor, so I could talk about this stuff because I know it. So, go out there, right? Educate yourself, become a master in something, certification in something. Now, go out into the real world, and I don't know, spend like an hour a day, just Google, go on Facebook groups, scan posts, and just reply to them. Because people have questions like, "Hey, I'm having trouble with this. Hey, I'm looking to do that." And, in a way, you're kind of giving like unsolicited advice. But remember, people are asking for advice. They're like, hey, I need help with this. Hey, I'm trying to lose weight. Hey, I'm trying to grow this YouTube video. Like, what do I do? So these are people asking for help, and you're providing it. And I'm telling you, you do that enough. It might take days, weeks, or months, but ultimately, people will engage with you. They'll comment back to you. That's what they'll comment on your comments. You'll have conversations. What you do, and this is kind of like a ninja trick in marketing, I'm going to share with you. The way to build your own credibility, it's kind of like if you ever watched like, there was a really great show in America about this woman. I can't think of the name of it, but like she was like this like marketing guru. Like she could take any situation that looks negative and turn into a positive, right? Just by spinning it on the PR side. This is like this, right? You actually can control the narrative of your own branding and credibility for free. Right? Because I do a lot of things organically. Organically means free. There's no cost. So here's what you do, right? By going onto Facebook, let's say, this is a practical way to do it. This is what I do. You comment on, let's say, like 1,000, 10,000 posts over the next year. What you're doing now, obviously, you have to be intelligent and be competent, right? So what you're saying, it makes sense. It's logical. It actually could help people, not or made up stuff. Don't lie. Okay, don't lie. You want to be authentic and real about it. But if you can help a lot of people, right, while you do this, what you're doing by giving away free content, this is like the ninja trick, is you're creating your own credibility. You're showing the world you're an expert in this. You can be trusted. Why? You have 10,000 contents out there, 10,000 comments that have your content. People have responded back to you. So now the listening of that 100,000 member Facebook group that I just mentioned before, I am now known as the expert in that group with 100,000 people. So now any one of them can reach out to me, or I now have the capability of doing a post on there coming from being an expert in personal training, like, hey, I'm giving away a free 15-minute consultation call on anything fitness for free. Who wants it? Now, if you do that before you do any of this, you may get what? Maybe like 1 or 2 responses because no one knows you at all. But imagine doing 10,000 posts. You build your credibility. You show them what you can do. And now you do that same post. What do you think the level of engagement is going to be on that post now? It's probably going to blow up. Everyone's going to be like, wow, 15 minutes for free with this guy or gal? I want in. And that could be a lead generation tool for you. You may get 1,000 leads off that in your business. I'll stop there, but I just want to share with you, like, that's some practical ways of doing this.
It is very practical. I'm thinking about a lot of things now regarding my business on how to apply that. But I just want to find out if somebody then, like on the post, on one of the groups says, guys, I'm sinking. I can't keep my head up, and because I'm drowning from this, a lot of work. I'm burning out.
Yeah.
What should I do? How do you help it?
Here's the answer, and it's really simple. And this is actually what I did. So I'm literally going to tell you exactly what I did that really got me to say it simply, like, look at life a different way that's more empowering and allows me to be in action more, especially when I'm feeling burnt out or I have felt drowning. Now, here's the thing, right? It's personal development, right? Like, here's the thing, right? There's a language out there, a methodology out there that I'm part of, and I'm gonna share with you guys in about a minute here with you. I'll tell you the name of it. You could look it up and do it too. There is a methodology or a context, to say it like that I live my life from the last 7 years, because that's when I first did this personal development training, that I now live my life from. So imagine, right? And let me illustrate this, because that was very conceptual what I said. I want to make this clear. So one of the contexts I live my life from is that every interaction with a human being for me is a training development opportunity. Every interaction. I could be getting screamed at by someone. And instead of getting angry, upset, or offended, I'm looking at it from the box of my brain that, okay, this is a training development opportunity. What can I learn from this right now? Like, what can I be developed in from this person yelling at me? Because I promise you, there's always something. There's always something you can take of value, but you have to be listening for it. You have to be looking for it. So that's one of the ways I live my life. Now, listen, I could tell you that right now. It won't matter to you at all because you can't do this just by hearing it. You have to actually develop and train yourself to think this way, which, by the way, it took me years, just FYI. It's not simple. Okay, so here's the name of the organization that I did, and I'm actually still part of them to this day, and they're available worldwide because they actually are a worldwide leader in personal and professional development. Now, this is not free, just to be clear. I don't get paid for this, for sharing this. I don't. I have no, I buy their courses. I'm part of their community, but there's no referral. I promise you, I don't get anything for this.
They're not even
the name is Landmark Worldwide. Well, I have to say that because people might think that, and I want to be responsible for that. So I get nothing from this, I swear, okay? So the name is Landmark Worldwide, okay? And I'll put it in the chat too, so this way you guys can share it, okay? Landmark Worldwide has been around, I think, for like 20 or 30 years now. I put it in the chat for you guys. So they are based on methodologies from, I'm not going to say the guy's name just because, like, you guys look it up later if you want to. But it's a methodology, essentially, that's been around for 50 years, okay? And the methodology was founded in how can we elevate human performance at every level? Every level. So the founder of this methodology, which you can read about, he dove into every, you got to get, Buddhism, Taoism, Islam, he went to Christianity, every methodology, those are methodologies out there in the world, he researched. And he was looking for what do they all have in common, or what can I take from different ones to elevate human, which is all of us, the world, human performance. And he created this methodology out of it called Landmark Education. And that's where the Landmark Worldwide comes from. And the foundational course, if you want to get started with Landmark, which is what I did 7 years ago, actually 8 years ago now, is it's called the Landmark Forum. Okay, this is like the foundational or the first program you do. It's a weekend seminar. Okay, it costs money. It's not free. They do have, you can look into scholarships and things like that if you want to. I'll type it in the chat if my keyboard will let me. But it's called the Landmark Forum. Okay, this is the exact course. I did this too. Okay, I did this myself about 70 years ago. And since then, my life has never been the same. Just to create context for you, 8 years ago to this day, the most important question in my life was, where am I going to sleep tonight? Because I was living in my car homeless for a year in California, in America. Homeless. I was having a really hard time. I was very depressed. Life wasn't happening. I was like 29 years old. I felt like I was a failure. I could never be successful in life. And this is before I became personal trainer. This is before everything. This is like 70 years ago. And literally, I was just like moping around, watching YouTube videos in my car all day. Seriously, like for a year. And I just didn't care. So you talk about, Neil, like burnout and depression. I was seriously at the bottom for a year, and I refused to get out of it because I didn't care. I was like, who cares? Like, no one cares about me. I felt, because this wasn't true, but I felt like no one cared about me. No one loved me, right? And what does it matter anyway? I'm a loser. I'm a nobody. And, a year later, one day just had an idea that, what? Maybe I should go to college, right, and finish my degree because maybe that'll empower me, right? Maybe, I don't know. So I went back to school for business, and along that journey, one day I was doing laundry out of the back of my car at a laundromat in California, and while I was waiting for my clothes to dry, I looked to my left, and there's a personal training studio. It's like a gym, like a workout gym. And I walk in there, and I meet this guy who to this day is my best friend. His name is Siyasi. He owns the gym, and I'm like, hey, I need help. And I've never asked for help before in my whole life. And I was like, you know what? I need help. I really do. I've gained weight. I'm not empowered. I'm miserable. I'm very depressed. I need help. And another thing I'll offer everyone listening is getting a mentor or a coach is one of like the best things you could ever do in your life. Seriously. For any part of your life, whether it's like mental health or especially in business. I mean, I'm watching the Michael Jordan documentary, The Last Dance documentary on Netflix. And even Michael Jordan, who is renowned as one of the best basketball players of all time, had coaches his entire career. And he even said he wouldn't have got to where he was without coaches. World-class athletes all have coaches, all of them. And I had to learn that, by the way, at this time of life too, because I did everything on my own. Right? I could figure it out. I could do it. I don't want to pay for blah, 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 blah. Right? Yeah. Right? I mean, you guys probably know what I'm talking about, right? I mean, it's crazy to say. And honestly, look, getting coach is not free. Let's be honest, right? It's an investment. It really is. But again, I invested into Landmark. Okay. I bought courses with them, right? Let's be transparent up here. I bought courses with them, right? I did their curriculum. I did their coaching program. I eventually coached their leadership program because I loved it so much. I got so much value out of it, right? And at the end of the day, I went from being homeless. By the way, that friend, my friend Sia, he's the one that introduced me to Landmark, by the way. So that's how I heard of Landmark was through him because he was in their leadership program. He invited me to an introduction for it. Anyway, fast forward 8 years later, just to tell you like the transformation from homeless to here. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, I'm married, which I never thought I'd be married because I never loved anyone my entire life before Landmark.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We're having a baby on the way. We're having a baby in June, which is our first baby. We're excited, right? I work in sales right now where I'm making, I'm not going to say how much, but I'm making like essentially I quintupled my income last year in sales. Like I'm making really good money. We're living really well. When I got out, 8 years ago, I had a lot of debt, like multiple 5 figures of debt. As of next month, I will be debt free. for the first time in 8 years, which is like crazy to
Wouldn't
me.
be doing
It's that long.
finance if you are not debt free, eh?
Yeah, exactly, right? 'Cause it's being a hypocrite, right? You're talking like smack, but it's like you're not, it yourself.
Exactly.
Exactly, So as I've been doing well in sales, I've been aggressively paying down my debt. And honestly, it was a lot. So it took me like a year, but literally next month in March, I'm done. I'm debt free 100%. My credit score has been rising 30 points a month. And then on top of being married, I'm having a son. Having a son soon. Doing really well at sales. I'm also launching 3 businesses, right? I'm doing trading also. And here's the crazy thing, right? Is even though I'm doing all these things, which is it's a lot. It's a lot of work. It could be.
It is.
Because of the training that I've had, Landmark included, and I've done a lot of other work too. My point is this, right? I'm up to a lot of stuff in the world. Like I have a lot of responsibilities, right? Businesses, my wife, right? Our child soon. We have a dog, my job, like a lot of stuff. This is not small. Like I'm doing a lot. But yet I want you to look at me right now. Like, would you say that I'm someone who looks to you like he's stressed out, depressed, has anxiety, can't handle everything, is overwhelmed? Or do I occur to you as someone who's like pretty chill and like empowered?
It's like you've got 48 hours in one day, hey? Because honestly, I cannot do I wish I had 48 hours. That
Right.
makes up one day, for me to be able to do what I need to do in one day. So, I mean, looking at you, I see a different person.
Definitely.
Yeah, and you know what too is that you actually can work thousands of hours a day if you want to. Actually, how do you do it? Well, let's do the numbers, right? You could work 8 hours a day, let's say, on your own. Yeah. What if you build a team of 100 people who also work 8 hours a day? You now went from 8 hours to 100x hours in the same time. That's how you can do it. And imagine scaling that to 1,000 people. Now you are working 8,000 hours in one day. Scale it to 100,000 people. Now you're doing 800,000 hours in one day. So you see the beauty of creating a team and trusting them, right? And so part of that trust is training them, finding the right people, training them, developing them, is that you could exponentialize your output with the same level of input for you as I just showed you exponentially by building a team. So team building, if we're talking more about business now and not burnout, but like the business, and also you not being burnt out, right? You yourself, is you build a massive team like I do. And once again, where have I found all of my teams from? Excuse me, Facebook groups.
You did mention,
all of them,
yes.
all of them, And I'm saying that to show you that like it didn't cost me anything to find them. I just put posts out there, by giving value and giving. People are attracted to people that give. They do, because you look attractive. Think about it. If I'm being this way all the time, which I am, right, with posts and with because I create videos also on YouTube channels, right? If I'm always sounding like this all the time, trying to be inspiring and motivational or whatever, right? Don't you think people would be attracted to that and like they want to work with you if you're like that about everything? Of course, right? Yeah, of course. So here's the fun thing. I never actually had to even really look that hard for people in my teams, because more than likely they found me.
Yeah.
Just by me giving value and giving free things away and building that brand and credibility and that energy, like that energy that I have, that's like infectious to some people, people get attracted by that. And you could be the way too, by the way. This is not just me, right? You could also be this way with people, through personal development, right? Landmark is what did it for me, right? Some people may go to Tony Robbins or whatever. Like, there's no one way here, obviously, to develop yourself. But I would recommend you find something, right? For me, it was Landmark Worldwide Education. That, for me, and by the way, my wife is also a Landmark Forum graduate, just so you know. So I found someone that did the same education as me. So we speak this because they do have a language, like their own language. Yeah. So we speak the same language. And so, my wife and I are very powerful people in language. Like we could talk and have a really effective conversation without making it too like dramatic. It's like, she's like, well, Alex, you said you take the trash out. You didn't do it. So how are you going to deal with yourself about that? And I'm like, that's it. Like that's the entire conversation. It's not complicated. Personal development, just to end here, is crucial. Like, because you could have a team, right? You can have organization, but if you yourself, a good analogy here is like the airplane analogy. If you're not putting the mask on your face first, if the plane's going down, you can't breathe. You can't help out anyone around you because you're suffocating. Personal development, and I'm really creating it that dramatic for a reason, because this is how important personal development is. If you could develop yourself on a personal level, and when I say that, I mean you're able to deal with stress effectively. You can deal with drama in your life. Because these are things that you'll learn. Like I learned these things in Landmark, how to deal with this stuff, like quickly, efficiently, to just like get over it, right, and move on, and to stay empowered. When you could be someone like that, man, you will be a force of nature that no one and nothing can stop you. And that is why with 3 businesses, investing and trading, my job, my wife, my future kid, my family, I could do it all and make time to have fun in my life and do things I enjoy and be like this about everything. Like I have fun doing everything I have. I don't get stressed out about business. I love it. I'm like, cool. Today I'm doing personal training. Let's go. Like that's how I am about it. I'm not stressed about it. I got my teams. I'm organized. I got my technology. I'm like, cool, let's do this. About everything. Because I'm organized, right? I have teams. I'm empowered because I have personal development, which, by the way, a good way to make this like a metaphor, personal development is the fuel that will have you run and sprint and live a life that's fulfilling, that you're joyful about, and that's not depressing, to say it like that. Personal development is the fuel. If you don't have it, you're running on fumes. Because the moment you hit a stressful situation, you're done. You'll feel overwhelmed, you'll get depressed, and you'll check out, and you will experience failure. You'll make it mean something about you, like morality-wise, like I'm a bad person, and you're done. Personal development, if I could leave everyone here with one message, start doing personal development. It is the fuel, literally, like the gasoline that's going to run your high-performing car forever. And I do personal development every day. I am mentoring right now 17 people on Discord. Now, we're doing it in a group. So, right, I'm automating technology again. I have a team, so I could make it doable for me as I'm doing all this. And I'm training them and I'm coaching them from personal development, right? Because once I could train them and have them develop themselves with the same language that I have from Landmark, and I'm doing it through a book, by the way, which I'll share with you too, because it's a really cheap book on Amazon, and it's based on the same methodology as Landmark is. It's called 3 Laws of Performance. Okay, and it's a book you can buy on Amazon for like $10. It's written by Steven Zaffron. He was someone that actually created a lot of the Landmark courses over the last 30, 40 years. Very intelligent man, very smart. He actually runs now Vanto Group, which is a consulting company, part of Landmark. And they consult with corporations around the world. Like they're very effective in performance, right? Making them more money, making their teams work better together, like all that stuff. So anyway, so what I do right now is I'm kind of giving away what my coaching strategy is, but I don't care because it's useful, is I have all of my mentees first read that book. That's like step 1. Once they read it, I then work with them on the book, because the book is not a book you could just read and all of a sudden like you know it. The book is based in what's called ontology or ontological methodologies. It's a way of thinking, right? And it won't make sense to you, the book, unless you talk to someone like me that's flat with the book. And when I say flat, I mean that I don't just know the book. I could think from the book. I could create context from the book and live my life from those. It's called the 3 laws, right? So when I look at business, I look at business from the context of those 3 laws and where they fit. So that's called being flat. When you're flat on something, it means like you don't just know it. You can use it and you can think from it. So it's very powerful, right? For example, I'll give you a simple metaphor here. So most people that have 9-to-5 jobs, they're employees, right? So they have an employee mindset. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? But you're in a box of what's possible in your job, right? You have like a salary cap, a limit. You can only do so much, right? Because your boss wants you to work in here. They don't want you to do this stuff. That's not your job, right? So you're limited. So when you're thinking like an employee, there's a box or a context in your brain of what is possible to do as an employee, which is limited, right? Now, if you're an entrepreneur, you don't really have a box, right? It's like you could do whatever the heck you want. So now, what changed right now was the context of employee versus entrepreneur. That's what I'm talking about. Is I create in the book, I'm thinking more of like this guy, the entrepreneur. I have my own context of what I want to do and how I can do it from the laws of the book that give me a lot of power to develop anything I want and do whatever I want, whenever I want. Anyway, it's a great book. Everyone should read it. It's fantastic. So I'll end here because I do have to go. So and our podcast was supposed to be 30 minutes, so we're going way over. But hey, I don't mind because I love sharing stuff with people, right? So bottom line, right, again, be organized. Very important, okay? To avoid overwhelm and to avoid burnout, you want to be organized with technology and delegation. So with people and technology, organize it. So it makes your life easier, less stressful, right? Because things are happening without you need to do it. Build teams, right? Again, you can go from working 8 hours a day to 8,000 hours a day if you have a 1,000-member team, right? Everyone working 8 hours a day. So build a team. And then lastly, what I think is the most important, personal development. Like, please, it's so vital. And that is the fuel, really. It is the fuel that will drive all of this stuff. Without that, like, now you could be successful without it, but most people are not because it's the fuel. Like, it's going to give you the tools and technology to deal with life when things don't work out. Like, what if your team fails? Now what? You're probably going to be upset, right? Angry, stressed out. So now how do you deal with that failure? Personal development will tell you how. That's why you need it, right? What if you're getting organized and technology breaks down? You might get upset again. You may get frustrated. You may want to not do it. Personal development will tell you how to deal with that too. So you see how this is so crucial. Without this, you can't deal with life. And life is a mofo. Life will like get you as often as it can. And unless you're prepared for it, and how you prepare is with personal development, is how you get prepared for life, you'll be ready to tackle anything. Like at this point in my life, honestly, I can have someone I'm talking to tell me to, and I'll just be like, oh, okay, cool, thanks, bye. Like, it doesn't impact me at all. I don't care. Like, that's their problem, you know? Like, I'm not going to make it personal. I'm not going to get upset about it. I'm like, oh, wow, they must be having a really hard day right now to curse me out. That sucks for them. Hopefully they're okay. And I'm moving on. Like, that does not bother me at all at this point in my life. And that's how I could do all this stuff right now. Because nothing bothers me. Why? Because I have my personal development to develop me to be that way. It's not natural. Most people can't do that on their own. So most people can. Wow. I'll stop there.
We know that song.
Yeah, you know, when you're having fun, time really flies. But I have one question for you, Alex. What do you do to relax?
What do I do? Oh, what do I do to relax?
Yeah.
Honestly, play with my dog. I get massages, once in a while, like a full body massage just to kind of chill out and unwind. Probably my favorite thing to do, honestly, is just drive in my car with the windows open and with like serene music on and not think about anything. Like just kind of like essentially meditation, or doing something like shooting pool, like billiards, that requires no thought. Because I've been playing it for so many years, I'm just like doing it. There's no thought involved. And that has my mind relax a lot, So driving with the windows open and music and just, hanging out, playing with my dog. I would say doing anything that I enjoy. Like last night, I went bowling with my best friend for a couple hours. Bowling, I had fun with that. We went to a bar a couple of nights before just to have, some food, just having a conversation, having a good time. Talking to someone like one of my friends or family that I enjoy talking to is very relaxing for me. I would just say everything that I enjoy doing really relaxes me, like non-work related.
I was about to ask when you said something that you enjoy doing, because one thing I picked up is that you enjoy doing all your work, your business, your 9-to-5 job, everything. So does that relax you?
Yeah.
But I got you there.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Alex, for all this insight. I mean, organizing is very key, and being resourceful and getting a mentor. That's one of the things.
Yeah. Thanks for saying that. Yeah.
Mentors
are great. I would say this real quickly just to finish it. So think of it this way, right? If you want to get from point A to point B, you can do it on your own, probably, but it's going to take you a lot of time. If you want to get there the quickest, get a mentor. A mentor that's already gotten to point B, and he'll be like, oh, it's easy. You do A, B, C, D, E, you'll get there like that quick. Okay, cool. That's the power of a mentor, is they will get you to be successful, to your goals, to your targets, exponentially faster than you can on your own, period. So investing in a mentor is really an investment. It's not a cost. It's an investment into your future. And all the best high-performing athletes in the world, even Tony Robbins, everybody has mentors. In Landmark, everyone has a coach. Everybody in the training development program, everyone has a mentor at Landmark. Even the CEO has a mentor. I mean, literally everybody, because we're always in a training development program our whole life.
Yeah, that's the way to wrap it up. Thank you so much for that, Alex. We hope that we can have you again on our show. I know the audience will really, really gain a lot from you. And who knows, they might also find you there on Facebook, like how I found you on Facebook. It really helps.
Cool.
Any closing remarks from you?
One thing I've learned in today's show is that I need to go and revisit my organization skills. I have to improve on my personal development. And one thing I liked what Alex said is that giving without expecting anything in return is gonna grow and groom you. So I take that. I was doing it, but I will sit down and feel like, okay, I'm not doing it the right way. Why is it not growing? But being in the field that I'm in for over 5 years now and doing most of the things for free, I am taking it and say, you know what? I wasn't doing it for free. I was just building my business. Thank you very much, Alex, for that.
Awesome.
And
thank you
so much for hosting us.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to co-host with you, and to have guests like Alex coming to the show. And to all our guests that have joined us on Telegram, on Riverside, on Twitter, we thank you for listening in and tuning in. And we also have a show like this again, on Mondays at 6:30 South African time. And who knows, we might even invite somebody to come back by the name of Alex.
I saw that the hour ran so fast. There was so much that he needed
and we had a lot to talk about.
So, it won't kill to have him again.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. And my name is Namara Pedi, and this is how we signing out from the show.
Classic.